Everyone talks about the good, but not everyone talks about the bad. And even when they talk about the bad stuff, they only talk about it in a superficial way, so you don't really know what's actually going on, and it doesn't really make any sense, and it's not really practical information. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys the 7 different worst mistakes I ever made in my financial history. Not from just a money perspective, but also from a personal perspective. I'm going to combine them both so you get the full perspective on everything. That's more practical, and that's what I think. And if you guys don't know me, my name is TommyBryson. I'm an accountant. I post videos every single day on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notified when I post a new video. On top of that, hit the like button. I really appreciate it. It helps the channel grow a ton, so thank you so much. And guys, here's a question. What's the most money you've ever lost in a deal or in life? And for me, I remember being like 9 to 10 years old, and I lost around 60 bucks. It took me 6 sales to actually get, because back then when I was 10 years old, I was selling DVDs, pirated DVDs, I'll be honest, and it took me around 6 sales to make that 60 bucks, and I lost it at a gas station, and that meant that I had to wait an entire whole month or like 2 weeks to actually make that money back to buy me a PS2 game for my video games back then, okay? So comment down below and let me know yours. And before I get started here, guys, I just want to clarify one thing. I don't want to be all spiritual and like a bird and just like, just fly, be all zen and tell you like, oh, everything happens for a reason. But however, it's kind of true, okay? It does happen for a reason, and if it wasn't for my mistakes, I wouldn't be the person I am today. So that's why I'm going to tell you my mistakes, but I'm also going to tell you what I learned from them, so then that way, you don't need to get hurt to then learn, because that kind of sucks. So then why even watch this video, So I'm going to include everything in this video so you know exactly what to do, how to avoid it, and how to make money instead of lose money like I did in situations, okay? So here we go. So the first mistake I actually made, guys, was mixing business, family, and trusting people instead of trusting contracts, courts, lawyers, and all that legal stuff, okay? Now, here's what happened in this case, guys, right? Well, it was back when I was in college, and I was doing, like, film and, like, vlogging every single day. Well, I had this one cousin that approached me one day and told me, like, hey, Tommy, by the way, he called me. He told me, like, hey, Tommy, can you do me a favor? I need, like, 700 bucks or, like, 1,000 bucks. I don't really remember that well. And I told him, like, well, okay, I'll lend you the money, but I'll charge you interest. And he told me, okay, no problem. You're probably saying, Tommy, that's legal, but in reality, it's not if you charge the legal interest rates, and you also do a promissory notes, and you also pay taxes on the interest you actually made from the debt, okay? So, great, great, great. It's legal. I'm not going to jail. So here's what happened. On top of that, he also told me, hey, Tommy, another favor here. Can you actually also do the pictures and the videography for my wedding, because I'm getting married also? And I told him, like, you know what? Okay, no problem. I'll charge you 700 bucks for all the pictures, all the videography, and I'll bring 2 people with me to actually help you. So it was me and another guy doing everything there, okay? So everything sounds great. Everything sounds good. But then here's what actually ended up happening. Shortly after that, by the way, there's a saying in my country where people say, like, you don't mix money with family and business with family, because things get really messy and complicated. And then you have to be like, okay, it's my family, I can't take it to the next level, so you don't really want to mix family and business. But here's what happened, guys. Well, this guy ended up defaulting on the loan, not paying me for the photography, the videography. On top of that, I should have seen that it was all red flags. How does a person that's older than me at the time, like he's like 27 or like 25, and also getting married, has a job, is about to have a kid, how does this guy not have 700 bucks? Okay? I should have seen it as a red flag and be like, okay, some problem was going on here. I can't lend you the money. And I should have never mixed family and money. But here's what I learned, because everything has a learning experience, and here's what I actually learned, guys. Well, the first thing I learned is this, okay? Not to mix family with business unless you're mixing it also with legal works, paper contracts, and also lawyers, okay? Because it did happen to me again, but the next time it actually happened to me, I did a promissory note, also a full contract with her. Well, I won't really go into details there, but I did a full contract, and then guess what happened? When he actually defaulted, the other guy, I took him to court, I took him to collections, and all the money came right back to me, okay? Because this time, I didn't use trust, but this time I used logic, legal papers, and it never happened to me again, okay? So here's a lesson here, guys. Don't mix family and money, because things get really messy, and if you do mix it together, you have to be prepared to either lose all your money or take it to the next level of actually trying to get all your money back. And that gets really complicated when it comes to family, so I just rather stay away from all that stuff, okay? Oh, and just to give you guys a little like update on the entire deal here, well, I haven't seen this guy, my cousin, in the last 3 to 4 years. And last time I heard about him, he's doing very bad, okay? Because again, karma catches up to people. And when you don't pay your debts, well, that shows a lot of ethical problems with you. And usually things end up really bad for you, okay? So things got handled, but not from my side, but from karma and the universe. And I'm not all like you know, like all the spiritual and stuff like that, but I think things got handled and it never happened again, so I learned a lot from that mistake. Now, the second thing that actually happened to me, guys, was I actually got scammed for my PS4. Now, Tommy, what do you mean by this? Well, it was back in 2005. Well, not 2005. It was like 2015. And here's what happened, guys. It was 2015, and I was selling my PS4. And I had a PS4 back then. I used to play video games like all the time. I still do. I still have a bunch of games here, but I just don't play them anymore. But the main thing is I was selling my PS4 to buy something that I needed. I don't really remember. And I was in a rush, and I needed the money fast. So I got everything together. I made a bundle with like 2K15 or 2K16. I don't remember, okay? I made a bundle, and I put it on Craigslist, on Facebook, and all over the place, and I asked my friends. But someone contacted me on Craigslist. Now, by the way, this was back in 2015, when things on Craigslist was very weird because people were getting, you know, on Craigslist because things were going crazy there. So I met up with this guy on Craigslist. He calls me up and he tells me like, hey, you know, yeah, I want to buy the PS4. And I said like, okay, great, that's awesome, let's do it. So I go meet up with him in a public area, of course, but it's like past 7 p.m. I go meet up with him and I actually sell him the PS4. Great. I get paid around $400 in this fresh money. I'm like, okay, great. And as soon as I go to the deli and I check the money, well, guess what happened, guys? I actually got scammed because he gave me fake money, fake bills. And I was like, okay, great. I got really scared. I panicked. I came home, told my mom. By the way, it was like 2015. Like, what can I do? Just like tell my mom about it, you know? And we freaked out. I burned all the money because I thought I was gonna go to jail, honestly. And guess what happened? Here's what I learned from this. You know, what happened here was this, guys. One, I was in a rush. I didn't notice the red flags. For example, the phone that he used was a prepaid phone. There was a voicemail there. And I could tell that when people used prepaid phones back then, it was usually to scam people. On top of that, he wanted to meet very fast. And it was past 6 p.m. Probably so I don't even see the bills. On top of that, I was such in a rush that I didn't even check the bills because all the bills usually, well, most of them had the same serial number. Okay, so that's what happened. That was the mistake. And here's what I learned, okay? Never again am I ever in a rush when I'm doing a deal. I sit down, I take it easy, I say like, hey, tell me about the product. Great, great, great. I call the companies, it's like, hey, is this phone correct? Is it paid off? You know, I check the bills twice, I go to an ATM, deposit it. I do everything I possibly can to make sure that everything is correct before I ever say yes to a deal because I don't ever want to get scammed again. So that's the lesson here, guys, because I lost $400 by getting scammed, by getting fake money, and that's never ever happen to me again. By the way, make sure you never meet anyone like in public, even though it's like dark, okay? Because they can be very sketchy and you never know what's gonna happen. So that's one of my rules. I only meet in public, Starbucks, Apple Store, T-Mobile's, and I never meet anywhere else, okay? Just to clarify that. Just look at the red flags, don't meet in a rush, and you'll succeed, okay? Now, number 3, shortly after that, back in 2015, when I got scammed, well, like 2 to 3 years later, I got connected with some people that did scams themselves. And you probably tell me, Tommy, were you a scam artist? Well, the answer is no. Thank goodness my mom raised me correctly, okay? And here's what happened, okay? I had a few friends that told me, like, hey, Tommy, all we have to do is go, like, to Best Buy and do this and do that and then get the products and we take them out and then blah, blah, blah. And you can probably piece things together here. It's called scamming. And it's kind of weird, and I didn't want to get involved in that stuff. But here's the lesson behind this, guys, is that I was around people that did bad stuff, and I excused it by saying, like, you know, we're friends. I don't have to be a part of that stuff, so everything is cool, right? Well, no. What I learned is this, you know, whenever anyone in your circle is doing bad stuff like that, disconnect yourself completely, because if that person gets caught, and he says, for example, like, oh, yeah, Tommy was there, and I wasn't there, I can go to jail too. And when you do scams like that, I hope you can piece it together, like going to Best Buy, buying products, paying for them, but not really paying for them. Piece it together, okay? Well, here's my thing. You can get up to 25 years in prison for doing stuff like that, okay? It's identity theft, okay? Put it together. I never want to be around people that did that type of stuff, and I always make sure that I never am around anyone that recommends anything like that, okay? Anyone around me that wants to make fast money, I'm like, okay, great. You know, what do you want to do? Like, resell stuff? Like, flip stuff? No, I just want to do this. Okay, there we go. We can't be friends anymore. I'm, like, off of it, okay? So, my mistake here was being around people that were my friends and keeping them. And what I learned is that even though they're my friends, if the relationship is no good, get away from it and don't deal with it whatsoever. That's my biggest lesson here. The company you keep can either bring you up or bring you down, and I mean really, really low, depending on who you are and who they are, okay? Now, mistake number 4 is kind of related to the same thing, but not really, and here's why. And you might disagree with me on this one, but the main thing is this, guys. Mistake number 4 is actually, I said yes way too much, you know? I read books saying, like, you know, just say yes all the time, be open about everything, and just say yes, yes, yes. And what happened is this, you know, I started working for YouTubers, started working in film, and started doing a lot of things that I didn't really want to do because I just said yes, 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 yes. Now, here's what actually ended up happening, guys, right? People started doing me favors, and in return, they held me hostage based on those favors because they said, like, you know, I did this for you, so now you have to do this for me. Okay, on top of that, I started working for people that didn't really pay me what I deserved because I myself didn't know my own value. Now, here's what I learned from this, guys, right? I learned from YouTubers, people with like over 400,000 subscribers when I had like literally like 0 subscribers, okay? I learned from them, but like in the first month, you literally learn everything you need to learn and then you need to get out. But no, I wanted to stay there longer to make money, but not really what I was worth. And on top of that, guys, some people that were quote-unquote my friends kept me hostage in the sense that they would be like, you know, Tommy, you did this favor for me, or I did this favor for you, so now you have to do this for me. And I always was really nice. I was like, okay, I just do it for you. I'll edit your video. I'll film your video. But now I learned one thing, and it's that every time you say yes, you're saying no to something else. So I never say yes unless I really want to do it and it can actually benefit me or you in some way. On top of that, whatever I do, I usually do it with 0 expectations because I never want to have expectations on other people because most of the time they will let you down. So if I do you a favor and you're my friend, I don't expect anything, okay? So when you DM me on Instagram and I respond to you and I do all this stuff, I don't really care if you like do me a favor back or anything like that. All I care about is that I did what I wanted to do, which was basically help you, and I don't expect anything from you. And if people around you want to keep you hostage by saying, like, you know what, I did this for you, or like your family, you'd be like, hey, that's great, but I'm not interested. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But I'm not going to be held hostage by anyone by doing you things that I don't want to be doing anymore, okay? So, there you go. By the way, it's not weird stuff. It's just like, you know, like editing videos, filming footage, basically for free when it's not worth your time, okay? That's what happened to me. It could happen to you. Stay away from people that want to take advantage of you, and stay away from saying yes too much to things that give you value but really don't give you any value whatsoever. Now, number 5 is where we actually start diving a little deeper and deeper and deeper until I might actually fall into tears, okay? I don't know what's gonna happen in this video, but number 5 is actually I bought a lot of things based on emotions. And here's what happened, guys. I spent thousands of dollars on clothes, on friends, on meeting the wrong people. I tried to get the wrong girls. I got them also. And I figured out something, guys. Here's what I learned. I had a very twisted idea of what friendship was, relationships were, and quality around me. I thought that having a lot of friends around me was pretty good. And then I was also a follower, by the way. You know, I did all these things. And what I learned is this, you know, it's 10 times better to have 1, 2, 3 good friends and having 300 people that don't really care about you. And it's 10 times better to have 1 good girl than having 6 girls that only don't really add any value to you either, okay? So I learned a lot of things from quantifying and creating quality control around me and not dependent on material things to actually push me forward in society. In the sense that I would use, you know, like fancy clothes, fancy belts. I'm talking about like $300 belts, okay? Crazy stuff, right? And fancy jeans and all this fancy stuff to actually get friends. It's this great quote by Will Smith that says, you know, people buy stuff that they don't need to impress people that they shouldn't really care about. So that's what I was doing. Big mistake. Cost me thousands of dollars. And now, I literally spend around like $50 on clothes for 3 months, okay? I go to Goodwill. I buy my clothes there. Buy like 30 t-shirts, like 4 jeans, and I'm good to go for like almost the entire year. So, and all my friends, by the way, are friends that I had for like the past like 10, 12 years that are really like a part of me and like my family. So it's all about quality, not quantity when it comes to this. And it costs you a lot more than money. It costs you time, relationships, and all those things are very important. Now, number 6, guys, quitting YouTube. A lot of people might not know this, but I actually used to do like daily vlogs, sneaker reviews, comedy videos, challenges. I did all that stuff, and here's why, guys. I did everything that everyone around me wanted me to do, and I never did what I wanted to do. Now, here's why, guys. In reality, I didn't really trust myself, and on top of that, I didn't have any friends around me that cared about finance, and everyone that I knew thought that it was boring and it wasn't gonna work out, okay? And you know, back then it's kind of different because, you know, back in 2015, no one really cared about finance that much, and we weren't on the entire like entrepreneurship, like flip stuff, and blah blah blah. You know, now we are, which is great, but back then it really wasn't like that. And here's what I learned, guys. I learned that advice is free. So a lot of times you get a lot of nonsense, and you want to get advice from people that are actually qualified. On top of that, you need to stop complaining about the people, about not having the right people around you, you know, because I was just like, you know, I don't have friends that do finance, I don't have anyone around me, you know. I stopped complaining, I went to books, read a whole bunch of books, and then I got the people that I wanted to from those books. So for example, I didn't know how to invest, I went to Warren Buffett by reading his books. I wanted to learn how to better myself, I went to books, self-help, to actually learn how to better myself. So I didn't make any excuses any longer. And the last thing I learned is actually, you gotta do what you want to do and make a business plan around it and try to make it work for you no matter what. But because if you just do everything that everybody wants to do, in reality, you'll never succeed. And even if you do, you won't be happy. And happiness is very important, because there's an entire study out there that says, you know, like once you hit a point in money, like a peak in money, like a certain amount of money, like having more money doesn't really help you, make you happier. But happiness in what you do makes you a lot more happy, if that makes sense. You know, comment down below if that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, you know, I'm sorry about that one, you know. Now, number 6 is actually promises, money, and family. Now, most of you probably haven't noticed this, but back here, I think it's this way I have to move. Well, back here, let me see, right here, I have a picture of my dad. And you might not know the story here, guys, because you might not really know it, but the main thing is that my dad ended up, you know, like passing away like 2 years ago. And you might be saying, Tommy, okay, that's sad, but what you gotta say about this, okay? Well, the thing is that back in like 2015, when I started college, I think it was like 2016, I made a promise, a stupid promise, saying like, you know what, I'm gonna go back to my country to see my family after I'm done with college, after I get a job, after I do this, after I do that, blah blah blah, make my own money. And guess what, I ended up finishing college, having money, and being able to go back to DR, but I never went there because I had to, you know, go to work. And here's what happened, guys. During this entire time, I ended up losing my dad. You know, my dad begged me to go see him, but I never could see him because I always wanted to make money, you know. And when the time came, it was around like November time, I said, you know what, I'm gonna go see him, but I'm gonna go see him in December because I just got this job, and if I leave now, they'll probably fire me, right? Because, you know, you just can't get a job and just leave like that. So I said, you know what, I'll go in December during vacation. Little did I know, like 19 days my dad would pass away, and I never regretted anything more in my life, you know. And here's what happened. I went to go see him, you know, like the entire, like, you know, like thing that they do. I don't really want to talk about that much. I went to go see him. It was too late though, and it kind of sucked, honestly. And, you know, I told you guys the 7 mistakes I made in my life. This is by far one of the greatest ones. And my biggest lesson here, guys, is like, you know, money is important, yes, but family is also very important. So that's why every single year I made a promise to actually go visit my family. And also, guess what? I also make 3 to 4 videos a day sometimes, so I can spend extra time with my family and go see them and spend time with them. Now, on top of that, guys, you might be asking me, well, Tommy, if you could change anything in your life, would you change anything, or would you leave it the same because, you know, it made you who you are? And I know, like, the standard answer is, you know, yeah, you know, you don't want to change anything, you are who you are. But in reality, I would change, like, just probably, like, you know, like, not being able to go see my dad when that happened. You know, I regret that a lot, but not anymore, you know, because I learned my lesson, and I think about it every day, and I learned a lot, but it hurt me a ton. So I would change that, honestly. I won't lie to you. But guys, comment down below and let me know, what was your biggest financial mistake? Comment down below, let me know. And by the way, comment down below. It helps people out a ton. I don't have to like tell you guys this stuff, but I do. Why? Because you never know, like some people might watch this video, might be going through the same thing. I might learn from it. I might not have to go through that same mistake. And I think that's worth it a ton. Now guys, before I go, just want to leave you one thing here. mistakes are like lessons, but like in real life, okay? Not like in a classroom. So whatever you go through, you make a mistake, just learn from it and move on. That's my biggest recommendation here. And guys, as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, really appreciate it. And as always, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you get notified. On top of that, do me a favor, DM me on Instagram if you want to talk to me one-on-one, uno, at TommyBryson. And if you want to watch more videos, by the way, I have a video on my family, so if you want to watch that video, it's like a personal video, like back in the days, like around like 3 years ago, I think I posted it, but you can watch it if you want to. It's right here. It's very old, so watch that video. Comment down below if you're coming back, if I'm coming like from this video. Comment down below on that video so I can know like where you're coming from. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, hit my face right here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and peace. Hope you enjoyed this video.